Donald Trump returned to New York City to attend Game 3 of the NBA Finals, and he was shown on the Jumbotron at Madison Square Garden during the national anthem. The reception to the president's homecoming may not have been what he hoped for.
It was certainly amazing. It was, I think, mostly cheers.
You know, when you mix sports and politics, you do so at your own peril. For instance, here's Stephen A. Smith before last night's tip-off at the Garden.
If the New York Knicks lose Game 3, this is on Donald Trump. You think I've been on him before? I'm going to be on his ass like back pockets. Like white on rice. You got no business doing this. He doesn't belong at this game. No president does. None of them. Democrat, Republican, Independent, I don't give a damn.
So the president, who is a New Yorker, showed up anyway, and that's not unusual. Trump has attended the Super Bowl, the U.S. Open, college football national championship. He's now the first sitting president to attend the NBA Finals.
Trump just had to bring his ass there.
He's a jinx. It's like the GOAT in Chicago. He freaking jinxed everything.
Okay, today in the group chat, we've got Brianna Lyman, reporter for The Federalist, and Christine Quinn, executive committee chair for the New York State Democratic Committee. Sports people are very superstitious. Let's just say that. There was this tweet from Ron Filipowski. I'm not an expert on jinxes, hexes, and voodoo, not superstitious either, but if I was the Knicks, I probably wouldn't let Trump near the arena for Game 4 just to be on the safe side. What was the point of this for Trump?
Well, I think Trump has been a lifelong Knicks fan. There are pictures of him with Marla Maples, with Melania Trump in the 90s and early 2000s. So this is someone who probably is rooting for the same team he's been rooting for decades.
This is the argument from Whoopi Goldberg. She said the same thing.
She defended
Trump and Mamdani are Knicks fans. They've been New Yorkers. You can't tell them what they're not going to do. I think the thing I found interesting is Trump is very much our sports president, has been.
Yeah.
Obama was an NBA guy, and he didn't go to games because he said it creates too much of a problem for the fans.
Absolutely. Look, I live on the west side of Manhattan. It was a mess yesterday.
I was about to say, how are you here?
Yeah, exactly. It was a total mess. Fans had to get there at least 2 hours early. There didn't get to be a watch party right outside the Garden. I get that he may be a fan, but you have to really appreciate when you're president, you're not just popping in and popping out. You're putting a whole bunch of people out. And in this case, he was a jinx. There is no question about it.
Mamdani could have been the jinx.
Completely he was a jinx.
Yeah.
Christine Quinn, jinx expert.
Exactly.
We'll put that under your name. Well, here's the thing. The reason why I'm asking about this is not just because it's funny, but also because one of the things people are accusing the administration of being in this moment when there's economic difficulty for people is tone deaf. The idea that, look, we're here, the regular schmoes who want to be involved in this thing, and he comes and just says, kind of let them eat cake, right? You can watch it on TV. And what was the sort of, I understand he's a fan, but does that contribute to the tone deaf narrative?
Oh, I don't think this is tone deaf at all. I think, first of all, a lot of those tickets, I mean, some of them are going for thousands of dollars. I think I saw one ticket price at $7,000. And the people who were buying them and who were courtside were a lot of people very popular among the left and celebrities, right? And I don't
Do they have motorcades and massive security? Or?
No, but those are the same people who for 4 years lectured us that things were fine under Joe Biden. So they also could be considered tone deaf. But I think the president, politics is obviously very hostile, but sports is one of those last remaining arenas where people do put politics aside.
Let me play for you the reception Trump got.
I don't think he got booed.
I just want to play it because it's Madison Square Garden. He is the New Yorker of New Yorkers, and this is how people reacted.
I thought it was amazing, actually. You mean when they had the camera on me? I thought it was very good, yeah. It was certainly amazing. It was, I think, mostly cheers. It was...
Carrie Champion here, CNN contributor and host of the Flagrant and Funny podcast. We had to bring in a little bit of an expert because we're political people. We don't know. We know about jinxes. We know about hoaxes. We don't know when politics and sports clash. What is the outcome? It's just New York. New York wasn't voting for Trump en masse anyway. But is this a problem?
Well, first of all, you said, people in sports normally, I hear you say that, normally they don't really care so much about politics. They absolutely cared about politics. This is such a rare moment for New Yorkers. People have waited their entire lives. The last time they won a chip was 1973.
Yeah. But isn't that why the president of the United States, who is a New Yorker, would want to be there?
No, in fact, you should not want to be there because you want to keep that same momentum going. New York is such a rare place. I've never seen fans like this before in my entire life, and they deserve to have this moment. And it was supposed to be uninterrupted, meaning we were supposed to have our watch parties around MSG. We were supposed to be in that moment. And I do believe, and the great Stephen A. Smith said just the other day, you played him, so he fully blames him. But so that was the vibe.
Yeah,
People were like,
no, you can't be the cooler. You can't be on a streak and then have someone come in and cool the streak. That's not political.
Cooler. He was absolutely.
I'm saying cooler. Let me play one more thing. Tommy Viator, Pod Save America host. Obviously, these are Obama guys, but they're talking about the power of sports and why politicians would want to be involved. Here's that.
He knows the power of live professional sports, and that's the only kind of monocultural events we really have left. That's why he goes to a lot of games. Usually it's the NFL. He went to the Super Bowl. Usually he's more welcome in those, sort of southern NFL spaces. I don't think he will be here. I mean, he's also buddies with James Dolan, I think, the owner of the Knicks.
Always pals with the owners.
Yeah.
Not a real player guy.
Yeah, no, but look, he loves the limelight. He loves every spotlight, and he will attempt to co-opt this one too.
Just that word, corrupt, co-op. We know that he loves sports. Yeah. UFC claw, rising like a phoenix on the lawn.
I don't know if do you really think? I don't think he loves sports.
He's been going to ringside games and matches.
No sitting president has ever attended a finals, right? Look, Barack loved NBA, as you pointed out, and he went to a few games, but he would never do that. One, it's on our dime. Two, it disrupts everything that goes on while you're there. And yes, UFC is a different thing for him in terms of for Donald Trump. That's more of his fan base. That's where he lives. That's where people love to see him. He has obviously the relationship with Dana. So when we see him at the NBA finals, it really throws off everything that people want it to be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if any of this comes down on Dolan, who obviously has some interest
why invite?
In renovating Penn Station. And there's a bunch of questions there about that relationship that I wonder if people are going to probe more now that they are, I don't know, angry. Being from Boston, let me tell you, I know to keep my mouth shut. I'm not messing with no New York fans because I'm trying to live a long, happy life.
I cannot imagine that the president was surprised that he was booed at MSG.
I was just at what was the thing where the Fernando Mendoza played the NCAA football championship, and Trump went. This was in Miami earlier this year. Spent so much money there. I'm not going to a sports event the rest of my life. And he was booed as well. So I think he knows that comes with the territory. New York, even more than in Miami, Florida. I would tell you basketball and Madison Square Garden, even more. It also, caused a lot of disruption. It meant that a watch party that was scheduled to happen outside of MSG did not happen. But, he takes the punches. He knows that the boos are coming.
Maybe a glutton for punishment because the way that the city was bracing for chaos today was unbelievable.
Well, I think the boos weren't as much political. Well, I won't say that. They were definitely political. And what you did to the city. They couldn't have the watch party. Blocks of, streets are blocked off. And there was an opportunity for you to maybe have a watch party in Washington because there's so many Knicks fans in D.C. You could have done it in the White House lawn. It would have been cool. You would have been cool.
By that blue reflecting pool he just made.
Exactly. Could have put a little orange stripe down the middle.
The White House lawn is under construction right now.
But the point being is that there was an opportunity for you to take that moment as a New Yorker and still allow the Knicks to have their moment.
He's a Floridian now. Don't you know that we don't have property taxes over? We don't have state income taxes over there.
He's a New Yorker. That's why he wants the approval of the city.
I don't mind presidents going to sporting events, but I do think that this one seemed like just unnecessary.
It was.
Just given everything that it entails to get him there. To keep him safe.
It's interesting because actually after the White House Correspondents' Dinner, there was a lot of the common strategy out of the White House was we have to have the ballroom because it's not safe, but it's safe for him to go to Madison Square Garden. But I think Madison Square Garden is not the SEC. We're in NYC. But what is interesting is when I worked on President Trump's 2024 campaign, the month before he got elected, we held a historic rally at MSG where it was a very different vibe. I'll tell you that. Not a lot of boos, a lot of cheers.
Historic?
And so it was historic because it was New York, because it's deep blue New York City for a Republican who then went on to win the presidency. But what I will say is I think it's good for the president to go out and do this. And hear this reaction from the crowd, because I really think it's the war that is driving the crowd's reaction. And his staff really keeps him in a bubble. They take him to the villages in Florida and they're like, see, everybody loves you. And it's like, no, everybody hates this war. And it's good for him to go out and actually get in touch with the people and really see, oh, wait. And I think you're starting to see it shape his decision making too. So I actually think this was a positive.
Let's be honest about what we just watched. This wasn't a president going to a basketball game. This was a desperate, pathetic man crawling back to the city that knows him best, the city that watched him build his entire con from the ground up, begging for one single moment where New York pretends to love him back. And they wouldn't even give him that. Here's what the spin machine doesn't want you to clock. The fact that he showed up to Madison Square Garden and got booed isn't a quirky side story. It's the whole story. Because Trump built his entire political identity on being the guy New York produced, the alpha who wins everywhere, the deal maker the city respects, and the moment the cameras turned to him during the national anthem, at the most emotionally charged Knicks game in 50 years, his own people rejected him. Not in some deep blue college town, not at a protest, at a basketball game, in his home city. That sound you heard wasn't just boos. That was the myth dying in real time. And honestly, there are 3 big reasons why this is a much bigger problem than his people are letting on right now. Number 1, he stole the moment. New York hadn't had a finals appearance in over 50 years. Fans waited their whole lives for that night. And instead of showing up quietly as a fan, he turned it into a Trump production. The watch parties got canceled. The streets got locked down. The energy outside MSG got killed. New Yorkers don't forget that. Number 2, his own campaign staff will try to spin this as, quote, mostly cheers. And some of you already saw that clip. They actually said that, out loud, on television, which tells you everything about the bubble these people live in. When your team's response to being loudly booed is to gaslight the entire country about what our ears heard, you don't have a messaging problem, you have a reality problem. So here's what I want to know. At what point does even the most loyal Trump supporter in New York look at this and admit that this guy never actually came back for you? He came back for himself. He always does. When does that land?